we do have our principal, the next president of Nigeria. Thank you. His Excellency, Mr. Peter B. here with us. And in his entourage, ladies and gentlemen, is the Honorable Pat Otami. Honorable Otami, if you may please stand and take a bow. Some of them don't know you. Yes. And soon to be the Governor of Anambra State, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Val Ozigbo. And also in their entourage is Honorable Mike Okaka. And I would like to recognize in a special way one of the conveners of this wonderful occasion, somebody that all of us know, somebody that is very unassuming, somebody that has one of the best clinics in North Carolina. Yes, First Care Clinic. Somebody that is very unassuming, very humble, yet our ambassador to the whole world. That is from North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ben Okwara. And I know the second convener, somebody we already know and respect in our community, our ambassador, actually from North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief John Obika. We are in the house of God, ladies and gentlemen, and before we begin this, we're going to begin it with prayers. And I'm going to call on Pastor Dr. Walker to please come and open this wonderful function.
Good evening. I'm going to do like him. Good evening. And welcome to Little Rock A.M.E Zion Church. We are so pleased and honored to have all of you grace us with your beautiful presence. And we're so grateful for the occasion that brings us here as we celebrate a new day in Nigeria. And we thank God for victory that will be ours because of his favor on this candidate. Anybody agree with that in this place? Amen. Let me welcome you to Little Rock A.M.E Zion Church. You look good in Little Rock. And those of you who live in the area, if you don't have a church home, I'd love to be your pastor. And you're welcome to join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and always look in on us. You're always welcome here at Little Rock Church. Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we are grateful for this privilege to gather in this place. Your word reminds us how good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in unity. And we thank you for the spirit of unity. We thank you for the spirit of peace. We thank you for the spirit of freedom for all people. We crave freedom. We crave justice. We crave a new day for Nigeria, as well as a new day in America. We pray, oh God, that you would continue to let this spirit permeate not only in this place, but beyond these walls, and all through this nation and all through the world. We ask your favor to continue to fall upon His Excellency, that, oh God, you will keep him safe, keep him strong, continue to fill him with wisdom, continue to fill him with the audacity to go forth and to stand as your spokesman and as your soldier and as your leader, our leader in the world. Now, God, bless this event and bless, oh God, everyone in this room and our families, and continue to use all of us for your glory. We ask it in the name of our Lord and our King, our Savior, even Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time we've been waiting for. I know a lot of you came from far and wide to listen to our principal speak this evening. On behalf of the conveners of this wonderful occasion, I would like to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you, obedience. But I'm not going to take your time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to bring up the man that the shoe fits to introduce him. Somebody that we know that is, when you talk of business school, business policies, you speak of this man. He was a presidential candidate for Labour Party, and of course, had the humility to step down for one of his students, who happens to be our principal this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, to start off this wonderful event this evening, please help me with a big bang welcome the Honorable Pat Otami.
Thank you. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's a little intimidating for me to stand on, should I call it a pulpit? Being a man of many sins, I want to come closer to the people. Let the angels begin to ask me questions. So, thank you. It's a wonderful thing to be back in Charlotte. Many years ago, 2006, 2007, I was quite privileged to be hosted here in Charlotte by one of our hosts of this evening, Dr. Ben Okwara. I came then as candidate for president of Nigeria, and I was traveling around the world. I had a message that was hard to take, which is that Nigeria desperately needed a new path. By training, a political economy person. And one of the things that I do is look at performance, whether they are business organizations, whether they are political organizations. And one of my favorite paradigms out of structural economics is called the structure, conduct, performance paradigm. And basically, enables you to look at structure and how structure affects conduct within that industry, for example, and how ultimately performance flows from it. It was clear to me many, many years ago already that Nigeria would not make progress if the dominant political parties continued to run Nigeria. And the logic is clear. The nature of the transactions that are required to be president of Nigeria essentially mortgages Nigeria in a way that you could not, even if you were a fantastic manager, you were a great person, a wonderful person, you go into that structure, you will fail to run Nigeria well. I can give you a simple example of the incumbent. I mean, the whole reason a lot of people rallied around the incumbent was that it was thought, even if he had deficiencies, this man has spent most of his life shouting about corruption. At least he will help us kill corruption, and that would be progress. Well, we ended up with the most corrupt government in Nigerian history under him. I've said that on TV, I've said that severally. I can prove it. So you've got to see that there is something fundamentally problematic about the structure. And so we began to try to build something different. If you don't believe in God, this is a time to begin to believe. Because the things that have happened in the last couple of weeks can only have come from the hand of God. But there's a big role for the diaspora if we're going to move this ball to where it should end up. For a variety of reasons. First of all, if you look at the 20th century, it's the century of the diaspora. Many of the countries that woke up in the 20th century were driven largely by their diaspora. Meiji Restoration and Japan was essentially the effect of a diaspora coming mainly from Germany. It made Japan technology sensitive, and the rest is history. There's a professor of economics at Harvard in the 50s who was a Japan expert who did not give Japan any chance of going anywhere. But we know what happened with Japan and what it did for the yellow race. It's time for Nigeria to lift up the black man. And so for us to be able to do that, we all have to be part of a process. It's not a matter of cheerleading. Everybody can make a difference. You look at India. India Rising was driven significantly. In fact, back in 1994, I used to teach a class at the Lagos Business School. It was a case study from India, written by a friend of mine who was a professor at INSEAD at the time, called Jonathan Story. It's titled India, Hindu Elephant or Asian Tiger. And one of the fundamental things about the point that Jonathan was trying to make back then was how the Indian diaspora kicked in. I used to make a joke, by the way, but new investments were pouring. India was technically bankrupt in 1991, technically. Had less than 3 weeks trading money in its foreign reserves. Technically, it was bankrupt. And then, well, somebody who had nothing to lose became prime minister. And then we got Manmohan Singh as finance minister, tweaking policies here and there. A surge of new investments began to come into India. Nigeria is technically bankrupt right now, actually. And so we are exactly where India was, in many ways, in 1991. And this surge of new investments, I used to say to my class, came mainly from a village in eastern Nigeria. And everybody would stop. What village? Say, Nri. How can Nri? I say, okay, well, it's not exactly Nri. It's non-resident Indians. NRI. And we are where we are today for India. Now, all of you here are about to make that happen in Nigeria. How have we traveled to this point? We've traveled to this point by trying to build a movement, not a political party, by trying to build a movement in Nigeria, a movement that will be one in which literally every citizen will be a part, in which a collegial approach will ensure that it's not one Messiah fellow going to the front and then being challenged. But when you are about to make great change, you have to recognize that nothing is more difficult to bring about than a new order of things. One of my favorite quotes, I like to go back to people, but one of my favorite quotes comes from Machiavelli, 508 or so years ago. Those words written in The Prince. Nothing is more difficult to bring about than a new order of things. Because those who profit from the old order will do everything to prevent a new order from coming about. But those who could profit from the new order do not do enough to make it happen. Because man is incredulous in his nature, not wanting to try new things until he has witnessed experience of it. This is why our role is so important. I would like to say to you that Nigeria will not be the same if every one of you here today gets on the phone. All these people you've been remitting money to. Now, you sent back home to Nigeria in the last couple of years more money than Nigeria was making from the so-called crude oil. That's leverage, that's power. How can you use that power to get a number of people? I said 5 somewhere yesterday, could be 10. Let them give you their phone numbers. Commit them to this process. And we're going to have websites all up next week. Send those numbers and their names, and let's be able to get them. And every morning they will hear from the Labour Party candidate who is leading the charge for the big tent, the third force, the new way for Nigeria. If we get all these people to commit, the structure that you keep hearing about, which I'm sure he will tell you a little more about, he likes to call it the structure of criminality. But I am not joking. It is the equipment of state capture. And state capture has crippled Nigeria. We need to be liberated. It is a time for liberation. We are privileged, not only in the hand of God, bringing to the fore in this Mr. Peter Obi, but he gave us God also gave us a remarkable gentleman to be his running mate. Dati Baba Ahmed. Now, 2 weeks ago, Dati was giving me a tour of one of the finest teaching hospitals in Africa, which he has just built. And I've known him for many years. I've known his senior brothers, Muftau, for at least 30-something years. And, of course, the one who most of us see the more on behalf of the Northern Elders Forum. But Dati is truly a gift that we must capture and help to drive a new Nigeria. That new Nigeria is possible. And if you believe the word of God, I want you to know that obedience is greater than sacrifice. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the opening comments. Our MC will be here momentarily. Just a minute. Okay. Well, I understand that, Your Excellency, you are eager to deliver your message to us, and we're very eager to receive your message. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's get a warm Charlotte welcome to the one and only, the man we're here to see, His Excellency Mr. Peter O.B.
Please be seated. Let me very respectfully stand on every and all due existing protocols. Mine is going to be more of an interactive section because I want to learn. I want to listen to you. I want to listen to your questions, be able to answer them, and be able to take notes. As you've listened to Professor Tommy, who I've told you about what we're doing, we're not trying to run the usual politics where somebody is campaigning to be president or to be governor, to be anything. We're trying to bring a change in a collapsed system. And when we bring a change, bring a true change, a change that is committed where all of you and everybody is involved. We want to take back our country. We believe that today our country is not governed or served by people who believe in the country. I've been going about, you are the sixth stop. I have touring various cities from Germany to Toronto to everywhere. You are the sixth one. Everywhere I go and see huge number of Nigerians. The question is, who is remaining in Nigeria? Those who are remaining are probably those who couldn't get out. And as I go about, I ask myself a question. And I look around and ask myself, what makes this place better than Nigeria? We have free market, actually. We have very strong free market policies. We have better weather. We have better environment. We have better food. Everything, we're family, we're better people, I can tell you. You can be hungry in Nigeria and your neighbor can give you food. If you're hungry in America, nobody's going to give you food. So we have everything. So what is wrong? How did we get to a stage where today nobody wants to go back there? How did we get to a stage where we have millions of people in a country that is so blessed with everything, hungry? How do we get to where the place has become one of the worst places when you talk about terrorism, kidnapping, all forms of criminality? How did we get where, if you refer people, one employed in the world, we're there? What happened? This is a country. In the 80s, most of you went to school in Nigeria, and I'm proud to say you're Nigerian. In the 80s, you cannot compare Nigeria with China, with Korea, with all these countries. We had 3 times the reserve of China. Today have 3 trillion. These are countries that we cannot compare us with. People used to come from Saudi and everything to patronize our teaching hospitals and everything. So how did we get here? Indians were all over the place in Nigeria, teachers, Philippines and everything. Today, we are going to India. We want to just escape to anywhere, no matter where it is. How did we get here? All you are seeing in Nigeria today is cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years. The only thing that Nigeria lacked is leadership. And that is the leadership that brought us where we now have the highest number of people living in poverty in the surface of the earth. Where we now have the highest unemployment. Where we now live in fear of insecurity. And we don't know where. And some of you who are lucky to be here, as Lord said, are faced with double tragedy. I will explain it to you. So what are we trying to do? Is what part I've explained to you. Ours is that we can take this place back. We can fix it. This looks difficult. Countries have gone through this. It's mentioned to you about what happened in India. It happened in Brazil or South America. We're in a total mess a few years ago. All they needed was have people who are prepared to sacrifice and say, we can change here. We can fix it. And it can happen. We have the people. We're assembling it as a team. We don't want somebody to go in and say, oh, I'm Mr. Obi, I'm president. It's time for everybody to remove all those. When the A.M.E was announcing, he was trying to call everybody honorable. A.M.E, we're trying to remove all those titles. We want to remove the fact. We don't want to call people excellence again in Nigeria, because there's nothing excellent there again. We don't want people to be distinguished. When I came in here, like I said to every other place I've been, I saw people, but I noticed that maybe it wasn't you people, because I'm not happy. And I thank people of Sadia that we're doing this in a church. That's actually where we should be now. So wherever I go, they've been trying to celebrate or sing, and I said, no more celebration in Nigeria. It is time for us to get to work and fix the country. The potentialities are there. It's going to be difficult. Extremely difficult. Let nobody kill you. The next government is not going to be easy. It is going to be difficult. Very, very difficult, because your country is bankrupt. It doesn't have resources again. If you listen to next year's budget, it will frighten you. Somebody asked me this morning, that everybody's been asking, Peter, how do you think this will work? How do you have a situation where Just to give you an example, the first 4 months of this year, January to April 30th, our revenue is 1,063 billion naira. But our expenditure within the same period was 4,720 billion. So if you minus the deficit is 3.1 trillion. So how does a business that spends 3 times its revenue survive? How are you going to do it? That's what everybody's been asking. Peter, do you think this can survive? My answer is very difficult, but the business can survive. It can survive with borrowing money. Our next year budget is going to be about 18 trillion, and we're going to borrow 11. Again, the question is, how is this business going to survive? And I told somebody earlier this morning, I said to him, the business will survive. Businesses have come back from bankruptcy, even in America. What it needs is that it needs competent managers who have the capacity and vision to run it, and can understand that it will no longer run the way it's been running. Managers that can understand that this is time to shut down the cost. Managers that understand that you can no longer continue the consumptive way the country is going. The country must go into production. People who understand that you can no longer borrow money for consumption. You borrow money for investment. That is the only way you can come back alive. And that's what we need. But to do that requires a lot. Prof, I've told you about foreign investor. That is my main topic with you who are here. Why am I going around talking to you, pleading with you? One is that you are the main and number one and most important foreign investor the country requires. Nobody, no foreigner can come and invest in Nigeria unless you come and invest. And you are investing to save yourself. Because what are you doing today? Your case is a double whammy. You've run away because you think things are bad. That's why you are here. You didn't come here because you want to be here. At least 70% of you. That's true. You came because you ran away. But what is even worse for you? You ran away and you are not in a problem. Because here you are working very hard and you can't live in peace because the people you left behind, you have to take care of them. So you have a crisis. Because if you are left on your own, it would have been better. But now, for every 10 calls you receive, it's 10 problems, if not 11. And you can't say no. Because even if you hate them, you will not sleep, remembering that they are there. They're hungry. You become everything. You are the funeral director. If anybody dies, you have to come and bury the person. You are a doctor. You are a nurse. Because everybody that is sick is looking for you. So they turn into everything. At that stage, you don't even have peace. So your problem is more. So you have a duty. If you fix there and it's working, then you reduce your own pressure. So you owe a duty to fix there. If you fix there and make that place productive, what do? You become richer. Today, Pastor told you, I know that for sure. I lived in the UK for 10 years. My neighbor, I live in my house. I live in number 66. My neighbor was in 64. Because things started working well in his country, in India, he went there and built a factory. The factory employed people from his area. They were producing, they were being paid salary, and he was exporting the goods to the UK and making more money. All these tech companies you see in India, those who started them started from here. So in their own case, they were investing, they're making money, they became richer. In your own case, you're throwing money because you're not a welfare officer who is throwing his money there and you're not getting anything. So you're becoming poorer and the other people are not doing anything because they're not producing anything. So you're going to live your life and die doing welfare. No. If you have the place to work and it becomes productive, you are the first people who are going to come without your resources. That's what my neighbor did. He borrowed money from UK, mortgaged his house, took the money and built a factory. But you know today, everything you take back there is gone. No, no return. Nothing. Have you ever taken anything back and you saw any return? No. More complaint will come. In fact, before that one reach, they sent the new batch of wine you need to attend to. You can't even go back because of insecurity. Now people bury by Zoom. I've gone to burial recently. The children are talking to us in Zoom. It's only people like me that were there. So you see the crisis you face. So you must fix there. Because the problem of there is just leadership. Simple. Nothing else. Not anybody tell you, oh, there's a problem with that. There's no problem with Nigeria. Problem with Nigeria is that you've hired incompetent people who don't have any capacity to do anything. So all they do is tell you in schools, tell you a story. There's nothing insecure in a place. It's either you have a state or you don't have a state. You can't have non-state actors be more powerful than state. It's not possible. You can't have a state where they now tell you that people are stealing Nigerian oil. Oil is not something you put in your pocket. It's not a grocery thing. For you to steal oil, it has to be through ship. The ship have to come into your waters. Navy have to approve for ship to come into your waters. Because you have a navy. So it is being stolen by the same people. That's what Pat was trying to tell you. Those structures they tell you people we don't have is structure of criminality. It is that structure that I want to remove. Because that structure is structure that made it. So it's simple. There's no reason anybody. So anybody who tell you insecurity is this, yes. Everybody knows that the more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce criminality. The more you equip your police and everything. I said, everybody knows that. It is important. Structure that makes it impossible that you can't invest in human capital development. Everybody knows that the more you invest in education of your people, the more money you make. Nigeria have enough population. Somebody got up here and said, oh, we now get from diaspora remittances about 20 billion or 30 billion or 20-something billion. No, I want it to be 50 billion. We would do like other countries where we educate our people and have a ministry that ensure how they even leave the country in an organized manner. And they remit money. Because we have the population. We have everything. We have a country with vast land, vast cultivated land, and people are begging for food. It does not happen anywhere in the world. Only in Nigeria. We have millions of people that are not contributing anything except disturbing you. People are stealing our commonwealth without conscience. And like I saw some of you are equally supporting them. That's true. I was governor. I used to visit here in America. And when I come, they say, this man has bought house here. This governor, the other one has bought house here. This one has bought house here. You can buy your own here. You can do this. And I ask them, why would people own a house in America? Do I live in America? What type of madness is that? And all of you know that at the time you're advising this man, he never owned a house like I'm here now. I don't own anything in America. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And you know that when this man was going around preaching and telling you, he did not own a house. And suddenly when he now becomes president, he comes and buys it. And you people, some of you will even say he's doing housewarming. Some of you will even come and pray for him. When you know the exact thing to do, that they have to call police and tell him this man has stolen our money. Because you know where the money came from. It was your money. The man didn't own it at the time he was telling you. Now he will start telling you, I used to have money. So why didn't you buy it before? Why now? These are things we must. Let nobody tell you fighting corruption is not a problem. We cannot collectively. So when I say the leaders are incompetent, I also question the insane complacency of the followers. Because they just stay and allow people to celebrate. Everywhere I've been in the past 4 days, I've asked people and tell them my experience of traveling to America, going to this and everything. That I asked the people in the plane when I was traveling, I said, I had 2 Nigerians with me. And I asked them one question. Why are we in this plane? Why did we follow this pilot? Did you people know where he came from? Everybody answered me, no. So why did we enter the plane? Thank you. Because we believe he's qualified to fly the plane. That was the reason why none of us knew the pilot. And I gave him another example, which I gave yesterday in Houston, that I once wanted to go and study in East Africa how education works. And because I was every other airline was exorbitant, I decided to find one that is cheaper. And I saw Air Rwanda. And then I bought the ticket of Air Rwanda. I've never flown them before. And then when I go home, my wife said to me, Peter, have you flown Air Rwanda before? I said, no. He said, Peter, I can't understand you. You just go and buy a ticket of the people, airline you don't know about, you don't know where they're coming from. I say, I'm sure the people there are pilots. They can't put plane on the air if they're not pilots because they don't want to die. So I'll follow them. Whatever happens, they will all die, including the pilot. But what happened? I said to them, when I arrived at the airport, everyone had a brand new Airbus aircraft. And I was saying to myself, fantastic. And I got in there, only about 3 of us in the business class. And then when the plane took off, somebody came out of there and said, I'm the captain. My governor, good afternoon. And I said, so who are you? He said, there's 2 of us here. The pilot and the co-pilot were Nigerians. Well, because they have no one Nigeria doesn't have the one they can fly. They started flying the other one. If they were Nigerians, they would have said whether they came from north or east or west or central before they put them in the cockpit. That's why the other one failed. They didn't. And I can't go on and on. My dear people, you have a duty. You can reduce your cost. And the way to reduce your cost is to be involved in this change that we're doing. Everybody. That's what I'm doing. That's what Professor Tommy is doing. I tell him every day, you're going around, you're a professor of political economy. This will be your last teaching if this one fails. Because nobody will ever listen to you again. So that's why we're getting people, more and more people, and saying, let's come together and fix this place. Let's come together and fix it. It is difficult, it's doable. All we are saying is that it's not going to change overnight. But we want people that can come and say, we are moving from point A to B. When they get to B, they stop. Somebody comes and moves from B to C. We're not asking too much. And this is doable everywhere. In 20 years, Nigeria can generate more than 4,000 megawatts of electricity. Tell me what is that in generating power. We used to have pipe-borne water even in the streets. We used to have electricity. They used to take like 2 hours and people were shouting, 2 hours, 3 hours. Now it's become days. You are the one saying, and you're still sending money. That is why you spend less of that money, let's change them. Otherwise, it will be forever. Now it's become weeks for nothing. What is that? Nigeria is a country of 200 million people. The biggest country in Africa. The most important country in Africa. With people like you, everywhere you go on the surface of the earth, you see Nigeria playing the role of being an expert, role of being one of the best. The only place that is not working is Nigeria. So the biggest country with 200 million people, generating 4,000 megawatts of electricity, generating and distributing, and every day all you hear, power grid fail, this one fail. In every other country, you just go in and put your switch. You don't even know which is power company. Don't know. Nigeria is one story of the other. The second biggest country in Africa is South Africa in terms of economy. 60 million people. They are generating and transmitting and distributing about 50,000 megawatts. And we are doing 4. In the past 3 weeks, South African government had declared emergency in power. You can go and Google it. They declared emergency because they said the power is not enough, it's affecting production, it's affecting this. So they've now said anybody can generate power up to 100 megawatts without license. So somebody who is generating about 50,000 have declared emergency. And somebody who is generating 4 have not even declared anything. When he should have done, what he would have done now is not to declare emergency, but I don't know what he would have declared. Maybe only God knows what he would have declared. But he has not declared anything. It's still normal. Countries have declared war on criminality. Nigeria has not done that because it was not necessary. You don't have a situation where kidnappers kidnap people in this time and age, take them to the bush, stay there with 1 month, feeding them, phoning their family to come and bring money. Often a time, if the person is sick, they even allow somebody, doctor, to come and treat the person and go back. But the police don't know where they are. The only person who don't know where they are is police. But doctors know where they are. To go and treat the person if he's sick. So they wait. At this time and age that if you call phone anywhere, everybody know where you are. They are using phone, they are negotiating with the families. And the families are telling people, police, that they called this morning, but they don't know where they are. These are the confusions we want to stop. This is what we want to stop. We want to stop people from stealing public money. They will tell you, no, you can't stop corruption. And nonsense. We know those who took the money. It's very easy. The easiest thing you can fight is corruption. We have all sorts of things. We want to cut down the cost of governance. It is totally unacceptable. You make Peter be governor, he becomes the richest person in the state. In any country where politicians or those in government are richer than business people, the place is failed. You celebrated doctor. When we were talking, doctor cannot be earning maybe 10% of what the governor of North Carolina is earning. How can? And he's still practicing. Professors in university are on strike. Nobody's negotiating with them. We're negotiating with bandits. Corruption kills 3 things a society lives: It kills entrepreneurship. It kills professionalism and hard work. You're negotiating with bandits, but you can't sit down with university professors and you want them to continue to do research and be able to find solutions to what is happening in society. Why don't I become a bandit and negotiate with government? That is the crisis you face. So, my dear people, with you, we can solve this. We're in a church today. With everything Pastor has told us, God will not solve it. He's God of the whole world. So those, even said it in Bible, those who don't want, even the little they have will be taken away from them and given to those who are serious. Because he's not going to be looking for where there's no light, where there's no this, where there's no, it's enough problem. He has enough problem already to deal with the entire world. So you better go and bless those who want blessing and leave those who don't want the blessing. After all, he has made it that some will go to heaven, some will go to hell. So every people choose to go to hell. Let them go to hell. It's their business. So if you think God is going to solve it for us, no. We are going to solve it ourselves. And not solving it is why I'm going around. That's why I said no celebration, no title, no award. I'm going to places like when I went to California, they say award. I said, no award. Every award now will wait till after government. We know whether the person is qualified to be awarded anything or not. Not when you're in office. Because we have heard this type of story before, where people come and tell us glossy stories and then do the opposite. But remember what I said, and what I'm going to tell you people now is that they must come direct and tell you. Because what they do is to send proses. And when you ask them, you said so. You say, no, it was this person who said. No. We're about 18 of us now contesting to be president. Don't think it's only Peter Obio. You must listen to all of us. Let nobody send anybody to come and meet you. Let them come personally. Say who they are. So that as they are talking, you go and look at their past. Check their name, their age, their school they went, everything. So nobody should come here and tell you, I'm sending this person. No. You must go and look at the place where they passed before. And be able to say, he can do this work, or he cannot do it. Because we now have a situation where, if you say, oh, it's people shout every day and say, what are you going to do? Because I'll listen to the questions you ask. What are you going to do about rate of exchange? What are you going to do about Naira? Naira used to be 1 Naira. Some of you left Nigeria when Naira was, when it was 67 kobo. When dollar was 67 kobo. Some of you left when it was 1 Naira to $1. Some left when it was 2. Some left when it was 10. When it was 20. Today is about 700. And people said, how are you going to solve it? It is very easy. The only way to do that is to take the country from consumption to production. If you produce goods and export, if you produce goods today and export, you stabilize the Naira and the rate will continue to adjust. It's a simple thing. If you produce goods and export, here you're raising your hand, we'll talk about it, you continue to manage your own. It's a simple thing. And I can give you examples of countries that have done that. Because mine is a very simple thing, is to say, ABCD country has done it. I'm a trader. And I know that the more goods you sell and have, a better balance of trade, and you earn more dollar. The problem Nigeria have today, why the dollar is failing, is that we no longer earn dollars. We no longer have dollar resources. If we have dollar resources today, you continue to stabilize and the rates. That's it. Every other thing can be, but this is the basic thing you need to do. That is what you even need to do to make the economy work. Nigeria is 200 million people where there's no production. There's no production. If you look at that, go and check our export in 2021. A country of 200 million people living on 923,000 square kilometers of land. Our total export is 18 trillion 900 billion naira, including the famous oil. That's what we earned. If you divide it by official rate, which people in government use, is 47 billion naira. If you divide it by my own rate, which is what I believe is official, because their own, I only hear it, it is about 30 billion. They can argue anything. For 200 million people, no. Because we have small countries. We have other countries who are doing the same thing. Vietnam is 100 million, which is half of our population. They live on 331,000 square kilometers of land, which is just a quarter of us. Their total export last year was $312 billion. So we didn't even do 10% of what they did by my own rates. And what they exported were manufactured goods. Electronics, 50-something. They did clothing, 30-something billion. And you can go on and on. Footwear. If you go into shops everywhere now, all you're seeing clothing made in Vietnam, made in Bangladesh, everywhere but not Nigeria. What is it making clothes? There's any rocket science in making clothing. We used to have textile companies all over the place in Kaduna. Aba people used to, you can sew anything. Why are they not being encouraged? Footwear. All manufacturing companies used to be there. They've all died. This is not anything. We can do the same thing. I go to one state after the other. They are waiting to share money from oil. A diminishing assets. Everybody is every day saying that they don't want these assets. Something that is already dead. Okay, look at it. A diminishing assets, everybody knows that in the next few years, nobody will need it. Venezuela have 10 times Nigerian reserve. If oil have not saved Venezuela, it won't save Nigeria. You people are in America. The biggest economy in America is not Texas. They're not number one. They're not number two. They're not number three. I'm not even sure. Maybe 3 or 4. It is California. And what is powering California? Agriculture and knowledge. This we have in abundance. We don't know what to do with the vast land that we have in the north. I went to Niger State. They're complaining to me they're not getting enough allocation from the federal government resources. And I said to the governor, you don't know what you're talking. You're sitting on 76.3 thousand square kilometers of land. That is 2.5 times the size of Netherlands. Netherlands is minus water is about 33,000 square kilometers. Last year, the total agricultural export is $120 billion. Imagine if Niger State can feed themselves, feed Nigeria, and export just 1% of that is $1.2 billion. At my rate, 750 billion naira, 5 times their budget, but they are waiting for money from oil for 3,000 a month. When they have facilities that can give them 50 billion every month, because that's what they are doing to you. So you are sending money to your relations who are not doing anything. No. We want them to be factory workers. So when your money goes there, it becomes an investment. It's a win-win. They are gaining something, you're gaining something. Because they're not doing anything, even if you send money today for them to build your house, they will eat it. That must stop. Nigeria must be a productive country. That's what you do here. Do you see any free food anywhere here? Who will give you? If you make mistake, you end up in police now. If you still eat free food. So why will you encourage what you encourage? That is what we are begging you. That is what we are going around to tell you to help. Help. Become an advocate. Help us in the advocacy. Put in whatever resources you have in what we are doing for us to change it. That's not, it doesn't, nothing. Be part of it. In a conclusion, before we ask questions, even when we succeed, don't go away. Don't go away. Because that's the part of the problem. Sooner you elect Peter Obi, then you go home and say, okay, Peter Obi goes there and start answering His Excellency. While he was preaching, he said, oh, we are going to move from point A to B. When he goes there, he starts telling you people what I saw when I went in. Not, we don't want him, everything he needs to see, I've seen it now. So I know what we want to. All we say is, Peter, go there. If you say you're going to move this country from 4,000 to 10,000 power, if you get to 8 and you're telling us we don't, yes, you might not have 100% result, but 100% effort. Yeah. We want to say it. We want to know that you are in that direction we agreed to go. Don't go and wait. Once you hear Peter saying what you saw, you say, please, don't see anything. Please go. So that we can bring somebody who will be seeing what we know, where we know we are going. Because sooner Peter goes in there, start giving you people in schools, then you people start understanding him. Oh, maybe it's difficult. It's my tribe. Oh, they're trying to remove him because he's from Igbo. He's an Igbo man. That's why they're against him. Oh, they're trying to. No. Go and tell that Peter says a lie. I've been governor of Anambra State for 8 years. Go and tell anybody. No Anambra elite was happy with me. Somebody said it here now because he knows. And I can tell you people, if we succeed, you're not going to be happy with me. But I'm not promising anybody happiness. It's not a happy time. Anybody who wants happy people can go and look for entertainers and comedians. The job is to start fixing Nigeria. And you will see it be happening consistently. No division, no this in it. And we're going to assemble people to make sure. That's why I say don't go away. Because I want to come back and start telling you, not coming back to tell you excuse why this did not happen, why this one. No. I'm contesting to be president of Nigeria. Do not vote for me. because I'm an Igbo man. No. Don't vote for me, say because I'm an Igbo man. I've asked people in the north, is there anywhere Northerners buy bread cheaper? No. Is there any road people will build that only Northerners pass? No. Is there where Northerners have uninterrupted electricity? No. I've gone to Southwest, the same thing. I've gone to Southeast, the same thing. It is elite conspiracy, a criminal conspiracy to keep the country down, and from North and from East. No. We don't want to hear it again. It is enough. Tell us what you do. Leave your religion. We're not running church. We're running a country. It's not going to be about connection. I don't want to be connected to anybody. If you look at everywhere I've gone, I refuse them to read out my CV. I have a reasonably good CV. But I refuse them. In Toronto, they insisted, but Peter, people want to know, you were in Oxford, you were in Cambridge. I said, no CV. Educational qualification is not a measure of integrity. We are looking for those who will not steal our money again. And it has nothing to do with educational qualification. Because there's thief equally among those people who have PhD. There's some like part of Tommy who have it without stealing. There's some who steal. So we want to remove certificates. Everything will come back when things start going well. We'll bring them to the table. That's what we want to do. We now want to see that change come. We want to make it work. Because it has worked in other countries. So it's not something that is impossible. That is why we want it to work in our place. That's why I said when we succeed, don't go away. Stay there. Be the gadfly to know when the wife started wearing the type of diamond they were not wearing before and say, something has changed. Where did this woman get the money? Is buying this. Because this is a confusion we create. The wife will now start wearing something he's not been wearing before. And everybody says it's gorgeous, but it's our money. We want the money to go to school. We want to put it in education of our children. We have now overtaken India in infant mortality. A country of 1.4 billion, a country of 200 million have overtaken them. We want it to go in saving the life of our children, not for the wife to be wearing diamond. There's no amount of diamonds, sorry, you will wear for that poor country that will make you a rich country. No. So it's time to remove all sort of gorgeous dressing and face school, face health, face everything. That's what we want to kill. Celebrations have to stop. Because there's nothing to celebrate. It will come back when we have fixed system. That's what we want to do. I'm extremely appreciative of your time this evening. But remember, you have no other country except this one called Nigeria. Even if you like, be a citizen of America, Japan, Britain combined. They will still ask you in a form you fill, your original, and you put Nigeria. While you say where you nationalize, you must say where you started this journey. So since you are going to say it, election 2023, remember what I said, will not be about tribe, religion, or my turn, or connection, or anything. It is going to be about character, competence, capacity, commitment to start turning around Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you.
Okay. Dedicated to him. Well, let me do this and then yes, then yes, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please hear another big hand of applause? I'm going to take a few questions for His Excellency. Just get seated. We have a process this evening. If you have a question, we need you to text please text your question to 704 609 7776. Again, that is 704 609 7776. And Chief John Obika will handle the questioning. As soon as he gets your question, he will read it out, and His Excellency will answer it. Still need this now.
Yes. So you can go to Paris if it's possible.
Hello. I have a question from Sylvia. Your Excellency, she's asking, what sector of the country will be your top priority in the first 100 days in office?
I want 100 days. Okay. Number 2, yes. What sort of?
Go ahead. Hello. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Sylvia Agbo is asking, what sector?
Yeah, we heard it.
Let's take the next two.
Number two.
I have another question from.
Don't even bother with number 5. Very nice, good question. We're listening to you. You want to answer one? No, just about 4, 5.
Okay.
Number 2.
I have another question from Pascal.
Yes, question.
The tariff on goods, especially cars, trucks, and heavy equipment, have increased by 200 to 600% since the present administration, in the last 2 months, increased them arbitrarily without consultation of stakeholders like importers, consideration of the negative impact of Nigerian poor players. How are you going to address this as president? Second question from Pascal. My question is, how are you going to encourage manufacturing considering you are promising a production-based economy? Bearing in mind our tariffs now is hostile to this concept. In the same token, Nigerian customs are on the road and hinterlands harassing importers who have paid their duty at the ports, making it difficult for them and the general citizens of Nigeria to absorb the cost of these bribes and extortions.
Is it four? Yeah. Which one is the fourth one?
Okay. Continuing with questions, Your Excellency. I have a question from the panelists. What would you do to what would you do to support the Pan-Africanist movement, the ECOWAS, that is seated in Abuja?
Okay, let me just try this number of questions. First is, where will you concentrate? What will be the priority when you start? Well, you are in America. If I may ask you, because I'm learning also, what is the biggest contributor to American GDP? Huh? No. Gone, eh? Small businesses, everything. The biggest contributor to Western world economy in terms of GDP is intangible assets. And those intangible assets are, number one, security. The only reason we're here, without any of you thinking how to go home, is because you're sure you'll get home. The investor, including local one, has to be alive to enjoy his profit. Number two is law and order. Because I'm sure a man was telling a plane. A man was so heavy that he was desperate. He wants to wee. But there's the plane, the pilot had put seatbelt on. And he was telling the lady, no, please. They said, no, it's actionable for me to allow you to go and use the bathroom. There's law and order. You are sure that if you go today now and send money for somebody to buy you a house in this state, and if that money is missing, you go to court and you recover your money. In Nigeria, you can buy land, buy everything, pay, show evidence of payment, and you go to police and you become a victim. And you have your receipt, proof of payment. Police will be telling you, how did you get the money? This is what makes a society. So, what are we going to do first? Is to talk about security of life and property. Because we want the people to be safe. And to do that is not too sophisticated. Today, our police people, we have, in terms of manpower, it is very low. We have about 320,000 police personnel for a country of 200 million. Egypt, with 100 million, have over 1 million police. So you have 320, out of which about 70 are the ones that are following people like me. So if you minus them, you have 250. So you need to increase it aggressively. You saw the governor of Katsina State saying that they have only 5,000 police. And out of that 5,000, if you go to any station, only 1 out of 3 is armed. So even if there are 250,000, maybe only about 100,000 have ammunition. So you need to double it for a start. Imagine what it will be when you do that and you can secure the place. One is that in doing that, you're going to create jobs for about 250,000 to 500,000. Somebody asked me, I said, if you go to my village, there's so many young people, because you're doing this through central and state police. There's no reason why we won't have state police. All these excuses they are giving you is nonsense. We have community police, if that is all we need to require. As governor, I was paying vigilantes in every village and even bought vehicles for them. I bought vehicles for every community. If you do that, it's very easy. By giving that number of people a job, you've already started reducing the criminality, because they have a job and they will be paid. Today, our minimum wage is 30,000. You might say it's nothing, but so many people don't even earn 10. So if you go there and say, I'm going to pay 50, and you're able to employ them, somebody will say, I said, that will cost us about 20 billion naira. Somebody say, where are you going to get this money, Peter? We're talking about no money, and you say this. I said, well, the accountant general has just stolen 180. That is about 9 months' salary. So I'm going to stop stealing and put the money in this. So that's where you start. Then you bring law and order. We must have law and order. And it starts from the top. You who is the president or governor or anything must obey the law. There's no two laws for any. The law of the governor of Carolina and your own is not different. It's the same thing for everybody. It's not going to be 100 days, though. I'm telling you where we're going to start. We're going to invest in education. Nigeria has very low human capital. So we're going to invest in it. And that's where we will start. And it will be aggressive simultaneously. We're not going to leave this one and do this one. We're going to do it aggressively. On issue of customs and tariff, there's tariff all over the world. Tariff is not our problem. It's to get the custom to understand that it's not a revenue collecting agency, but a business supporting agency. By changing his mentality, there's no reason why somebody will import goods into Nigeria and it takes several days or months to clear his goods. No. The tariff is not the problem. Custom is not meant to be on the road. They are meant to be at the border. But because custom have become whatever you call it, you are the one who called it. But those things can stop if they don't see other people doing it. So you can. You ask how am I going to move Nigeria from consumption to production. I've just given you an example. You remove the revenue. We're going to remove the revenue sharing formula, replace it with production formula. Because we're going to produce for export. You give incentive. When you stop corruption, and people don't see people who are going around with huge money without a daytime job, you support export-led turnaround and everything. When you start increasing the power generation, it's been clear that for every 1,000 megawatts of electricity you add to your economy, you could increase your GDP for a developing world between 0.5% to 1%. So the more they are doing it, the more you're getting more power. The greatest problem of production today is power. So the more you're increasing the availability of power in facilities, in areas like Aba, the more. Your port that you said is the difficult thing, port is supposed to be a trade facilitator. If you go to Port Harcourt, for example, today Port Harcourt is a place you can develop as export port, poor people in Aba, support people in the southeast. The country is so sophisticated that you can plan it today that all your agriculture is in the north, with Kano and Kaduna as a processing center. Lagos State drives your financial sector, while the East drives your manufacturing sector. Easily, you can plan. It's a country that everywhere will be booming if you put it right. So, how did Vietnam start production? It was just leadership. Vietnam used to be the biggest rice importer. Today they export rice. There's nothing in it. It's just a question of saying this is where we want to go. And we are driving this vehicle in that direction without any excuse. There's nothing. So, and that's where you people come in. Because I said you have the resources. 3, 4 of you can stay here and say, okay, we are going to, like the Chinese did, we are going to Nigeria to start a factory that will do this, maybe this clothing we are talking, export it here, we'll sell it here. That's what you people are going to do. And we'll be receiving it. Not that you're sending money for people to eat. No. So it is something that is doable. The fourth question, which is the final one, I can't remember very well, but the fourth question was the issue of, what was the first question? Now, manufacturing. ECOWAS. Let me tell you, Africa remains the center of our foreign policy. But you can't talk about foreign policy without having strong domestic policy. That's where you start. All these things you see they are grouping G7, G10, G20, is economy. If your economy is good, you are putting 1 G. If it's not good, you are G-less. It's mainly economy. What makes anybody G7 or G20? They will even invite you for meeting. It's like that. It's even it's the same thing with even human being. If you are doing well, you are invited. If you are not doing well, nobody invites you to any place. It's simple. No invitation. No invitation. Yes, no invitation. I used to have a very rich uncle. And when you're driving with him, you will see somebody say, no, I don't want to see this, I don't want to see this person. And suddenly you see another person say, hey, stop that man, stop that man. So one day I said, uncle, You said you don't want to see this. You don't see this. This man is full of trouble. This one is. So it's same thing. If you are doing well, you are invited. If you are not doing well, nobody wants to see you because you come with trouble. So all this Jesus is your economy. So your foreign policy must be driven by your strong domestic policy. There's nothing that made America first world, except that again, they have something to offer. There's no reason why you want to come here. This place can be Nigeria. Nobody wants to go there. Have you ever seen people queuing up in Afghanistan embassy? No. Even if they give it to you free, you don't want to go. So it's a simple thing. So we will do the right thing. Africa will come. There's a time we used to be peacekeeper for everywhere in Africa. That was when we were doing well. There's a time when we talk, other people shake. Now if you talk around, they tell you because they know you are weak. They say, "What? How are you talking like that? Who are you telling that?" Because they know you're weak. The next set of questions. So, thank you.
Gentlemen, before we proceed, somebody lost or misplaced their telephone, their cell phone. If you happen to find one, please.
Yes. Okay.
Your Excellency.
Yeah.
I have a few other questions.
Yeah, go on.
But before we go forward, I know you're so passionate about youth. If you don't mind, I'll have the youth direct this question to you.
Yes.
Yes. My bachelor's degree is in health systems administration, and I'm a dual master's student in healthcare administration and health IT and analytics. How will your administration grapple with the crippling healthcare system in our country, i.e. intended policy development? Will your administration look to back private healthcare financing or a national scheme? And how can those in the diaspora, those like myself, young people ages 23 plus, how can we be involved in the healthcare field and support this intended policy, sir? Thank you kindly.
No, thank you. Go on. Okay,
the next question, Your Excellency, from Dr. Darlington Hart. My question, how will you enforce the rule of law when those who should enforce it, like the military or the police, is corrupt and incompetent? Next.
Yeah, go on.
I have a question from this one is lengthy. Your Excellency, Nigerian politicians have made governing the fastest route of personal enrichment. Their salaries are outside of the range when compared with other countries, including G20. The U.S. president makes about $400,000 a year, while a Nigerian senator makes more than $2 million. This financial incentive causes our politicians to pay.
Yeah, go on. Let me go on with the next question. Okay, let's deal with these three so that youth, because I like the youth question. Yes. Let me assure you, where is the youth? Let me assure you, my daughter, that what we're doing is about your future. We've lost it. But we don't want to bequeath you anarchy. That's why we're doing what we're doing. I'm privileged to have two of you in my house, and I tell them we can't bequeath them anarchy. We're going to fix it. It's going to be difficult. Don't think we're going to do everything. Some of the things you're saying here, we'll still need your brain to do it, because leading and learning is inseparable. A leader doesn't know everything. I don't know everything. Anybody who knows everything is an idiot. So I don't know everything. I learn. So as you're saying what we are going to do, we are going to put some of you with all this talent and energy in a room to tell us what to do. But I can tell you why we will be committed to health. Because three things is what develops a nation. If you go to the greatest measure of development is Human Development Index. And it's three things powers it. Life expectancy, which is health. So that's number one, because health is wealth. So we will invest in it. Two is education. We will invest in it. Three is per capita. So we want to increase it. We want it to be better. So that's it. So we'll make it work. So it's a very simple thing. We're going to invest in it, but the ideas of how we're going to pursue it, we will listen to people. Just like I do, I listen to Professor Tommy and other professors who are far more intelligent than I am. That is the thing. The only difference is that if I believe in it, I'm going to pursue it, even when every other person around me is not happy with me. I'm going to say, this is where, because that's what we can do that is good. So be rest assured we are committed to it. The next question talked about issue of how much politicians earn. Quite frankly, I said it when I was talking, but let me tell you, the salary of the politician is not the problem. It's even what they steal that is the problem. If they take what they paid and go home, they were safe. But what they steal compounds it. But let me even tell you, all those things will be reviewed. I said it before, that the cost of governance is unacceptable. I've been a governor, so I know. The biggest state, I said before, is California. California is about 3.3 trillion economy, which is 8 times Nigerian economy. Yet, the governor of California cannot move around with 10 vehicles. If they see him in 5 vehicles, he will not be governor the next day. But in Nigeria, he'll be moving around with 30 vehicles. An ambulance that is not a hospital. Even what is worse, they will have office of first lady for the wife with the same number of vehicles. For somebody nobody voted for, had never campaigned. Nobody knows he exists. So that when I say it at times, people will say, oh, women are also entitled to their own. I say, no. I live with my wife. We are close on everybody. Nobody voted for her. So to create additional confusion for money you need to fix school is not allowed. These are things we must stop. The cost of governance in Nigeria is too high. I saw it myself. There was too much waste. They invite one person for a meeting, 30 people will attend. People who have no reason to be there. Nobody invited them. They have no contribution. So all those things must stop. The German chancellor came to Nigeria. He came on Lufthansa. British people, they come on British Airways. Germany is a 3.8 trillion economy. Britain, 3.1. Then somebody who is about 10% of their GDP will carry plane to go and visit them. Somebody who is going to beg, somebody who is going to borrow. That's the problem of Nigeria. You know? Somebody who is a refugee wants to wear a designer thing. It's the problem of Nigeria. And he thinks that there's something he will come with. So these are things we must shut down. And let things happen the way it happens every other place. We're going to do it. It's not sophisticated. I think that's the true question. Or three. What was the third one? Police. Let me tell you, police is not corrupt. Custom is not corrupt. Not hungry. They're not hungry. The person you need to deal with corruption is the leader. If the leader is not stealing, if the leader is behaving well, police, everybody around him will behave well. When I went to Anambra State to be governor, I'm in my office by 7:30 because that's the time they started work. He would tell you that the first thing, when I came out of the plane today, I said, what time is this event? He told me, I said, oh my God, why did you put it at this time? That the problem is that everywhere we've gone, we started by 7:38. So we're coming here with the same mindset. I even told him, I said, I have a slight issue. That on exercising this morning, I banged my head somewhere. That's why you saw something like that. I said, I banged my head somewhere, and I'm having headache. That I want to drink headache. So I said, but why did you, doctor was very nice. He even got me a better headache tablet. So I said to him, so why am I saying so? The same civil servants that don't used to go to work early started coming to work early. We moved the education from number 26, 27 to number 1. We didn't change the teachers. It was the same teachers that was teaching when we were 27 that were teaching when we were number 1. What changed? They found out I visited every single secondary school. Every secondary school. Everybody knows that as governor of Anambra State, every secondary school senior prefect had my phone number. So they will tell you, our English teacher is not working. Commissioner, what is happening here? It changed. We returned school to the churches. Supervision changed. Everybody said, the whole thing changed. So if you have a leader, as governor of Anambra State for 8 years, you can go and ask anybody. Nobody drank a bottle of wine in government house. Anybody can tell you, because everybody says, oh, Peter, why not? I said, I'm not running a bar. If you want to drink, you go to a bar and have a drink. It's not here, it's not a bar. So as people stop, I used to have the primate of Church of Nigeria, Peter Knoller. I gave her an appointment on a Monday. I said, I'm going to be in the office by 8. So you can come 8 or 8:30. He said 8:30. And he came and he drove straight to my office. That's how I called him. And he said, my protocol officer, he said, I gave him an appointment, but I'm not here. He said, I'm here. He said, everywhere is looking quiet. Nobody's, He said he's inside, he's just there working. He said, this is the best government house it's been. There's an editor, managing director of Sun newspaper today, wrote a book, Meeting People in Power. Go and read it. He said how I gave him an appointment by 8 in the night. That anywhere they give them an appointment by 8, they expect to see the governor by 12. So they were coming by 9 o'clock, hoping to see me by 12. And my proconsul said, the man has been waiting for you. So when he came, he said, nobody's seen the... So back to the primate. He said, nobody's there. I said, yes. Because what happened? When I started the work, every week somebody says he's coming for courtesy call. One big man or one traditional ruler. He will come. When he's going, they say, Oga, you're supposed to give me something. I said, give me something for what? The man said he wants to see me. He was the one who said here he wants to see me. That he wants to pay me courtesy. And he's going to say that's how they do it. I said, no. This person came on his own. We didn't invite him. He didn't offer us any service. So what are we giving him money for? What do you think we are doing here? So after some time, nobody comes. They went their way. Simple. What am I trying to say? You can't stop it. We shut down going to Enugu. When I go to Enugu, it's out of station. So when I want to go to Enugu from Oka, 1,500 people follow me. And I said, no more out of station allowance. No more this. When I say I'm going to Enugu, only me will go. Nobody wants to follow me. You know? And it stopped. I told people in Houston yesterday that my head of service, Ngozi Melifon, wrote a book which he called, something he wanted to publish, which I said to him, not now, when I feel. He says, stinginess as a development strategy. Because I was quarreling with them for several years, months, about not money for this, cutting money for this. But what happened? When I came, the judges didn't have vehicle. The permanent sec didn't have vehicle. The magistrate didn't have vehicle. They were being owed pension, gratuity, everything. When I started paying it, they were like, where do you get the money? I said it was those allowances that I stopped that you're using to do this. We started painting schools. Go to Anambra, we started buying computers and everything. It was the same money. And that's how we ended up what? We never borrowed 1 naira for one day, never asked anybody to do anything, and we ended up living 70-something billion when we were going. Because it's the money. We didn't print the money. What we did is to say, no to this, no to that. Governor of Anambra State doesn't have to own a house in Abuja. There's no lodge in Abuja because he doesn't live in Abuja. So why is he owning a house in Abuja? You cannot have 20 vehicles going on the road when it's carrying one person. So what are you doing? So we shut down all those things. So what am I trying to say? If you tell police, in my 8 years of being governor, go and ask anybody, police does not follow me into a church. And if you come late, if you go late, you stay at the back. That's where latecomers stay. So what we've done in Nigeria that made custom and police behave like that we have taken rascality and bad behavior as a measure of success and power. So you come to church late, you're going in front of the church. When you know you're late, what do you think the people will be learning from you? You're supposed to apologize for even coming late because you are His Excellency. We're supposed to be excellent, and you came late and you're going in front. So these are things that are, Professor Tom is prof. When they called him honorable, I said they should stop calling him honorable. He said it's Professor Tom. He's qualified, he defended it, he wrote the papers to be professor. But what is in Nigeria now? One day he said, Professor Peter Obi. This man did not, he didn't write no research, no paper, nothing. He's going to be a professor. These are things we must stop. People must earn it. When they earn it, same thing, policeman will have good behavior. But if we allow him to push people because you're passing, I'm here with you people, now nobody is pushing you. So tomorrow he becomes president. Yes, people can say don't crowd him, but don't push people. They're not going to, when I go around, people say, oh, be careful. They're going to attack you. They're going, that's in America. How come? You know, anybody who is going to attack me, we're all here. Even me, I think I should be feared more from where I'm coming to the people who are here. So it's important that don't talk about police and this is not being, it's the behavior of the leaders that have made police behave like a madman, that have made custom behave like a mad person because he's watching his orga. If you give police to follow Tommy today, he will not do the same thing. He will not do it. It's not possible. So it's the people that have to train human beings to behave like human beings. Or you train them to become animal, and they behave like animal. And then you turn around and say, these people have bad behavior. But it's their Oga that is an animal. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the next question is going to be of interest a little bit.
After this one,
On the, on the,
I came from a place where you have to send money to you.
on the 24th of June this year, we worked tirelessly to get you to sacrifice. It was a big sacrifice to make a video and telecast from Nigeria to A.M.E on the 27th. You remember? Now the president of that incoming president of A.M.E is asking the question. There, president of A.M.E. Yes. Healthcare tourism costs Nigeria between 1.2 billion and 1.6 billion. How do you intend to improve the healthcare framework and address medical tourism? Then she says less than 5% of the GDP is contributed towards healthcare. You should be at least 3/4 times that. In view of the current coffers, how do you intend to create funding to develop the care system desired, since it's not free?
Okay, I actually spoke to the president today. I said, congrats, that is a woman, that is the, am I right? Thank God that is a woman that is the president. I know. Congrats. So let me tell you that it's not even the percentage that is the problem, but even the 5% is stolen. So it's not the not to quantity. Again, let me tell you, this is where we have a problem. The budget of Nigeria is low compared to budget of other countries, Ghana, everywhere and everything. And often a time you see Nigeria say, have a seat, see Nigerian government say they have a revenue issue. The revenue to GDP is very low. If you follow Nigeria, they will tell you revenue to GDP is very low. And it's true. Our revenue to GDP is low. But our revenue to GDP is low because our productivity to population is low. When you have 35% unemployment and about 15 to 20% underemployment, so you have about 55% unemployment. When I say it, people won't understand. In a country, the ratio of those who are supposed to be productive is supposed to be 60%. It could be less, it could be more, but 60%. That means in a country like Nigeria, that is 200 million, you're supposed to have about 120 million working. I've had people where people say no, it's 95. Some say it's 100. But the active working population is about 50 million. So half of your productive capacity is not producing anything. Thereby, you can't go, these people are sending money, are not paying tax, they're not paying anything. What makes the nation is when people are productive, they pay tax. You can't tax unemployed people. If I'm not doing anything, I'm begging money, they send money for me from London, you come and take it for tax. You're looking for fight now. So people are not paying tax. People are not doing, so you're not generating revenue. For revenue generation for government is that bank account. You see, after COVID, the government of America putting money into people. They're not putting that money as dash. But because they know that if the people, if they put money in their hands, there will be effective demand, local demand, which will prepare companies, which will make people earn money, which they will pay tax. And that's how government work. It's a bank account. You can't go to cash money when you have not paid anything in. So government needs to reflect and make the economy work. If you make it to work, you can take back. So health, what you're asking, President, we will do all those things. Medical tourism can be stopped. We have people like you. We have doctors all over the place, working and everything. What we need to do is to start seeing the value of equipping those facilities. There's no reason why here we have a budget where the health facility in Aso Rock gets more money than teaching hospital. It doesn't make sense to anybody. When Trump was sick here, they took him to a military hospital. That's where they will take other military people. That's how it works. When British Prime Minister was sick, they took him to a hospital. Peter can go to, everybody can go to. In our place, they go and they equip one place and say it's that Aso Rock clinic. It will not work. It happened to me as governor. When I started being governor, I came one day, I saw about 4 doctors. They say that government has doctors. They saw nurses. They say that government has nurses with ambulance. Ambulance that is not in hospital. You're using it to carry. If you follow our governors, you see their convoy going with ambulance. Tell me, is ambulance? I say, why is ambulance? So I say in case you have accident. How can we plan for accident? When the Bible everything. So, and he carries one, the wife carries one, the daughter, if his daughter is around, they carries one, and that's the madness that is existing there. So these are things you must stop and equip the place properly. You know, even some of you who are doctors here who are sophisticated, I'm sure if things are working properly, the security and everything, you can even come home and help. But when there's no security, there's nothing, there's no way, nobody appreciates everything, you're here working 24 hours. So all those things can be stopped. Every other country has done it. And we can do it. This education we're talking, what you're talking about medical tourism, is what happened in education. It's us today that is keeping Ghana universities on. Cotonou, it will shock you. I was coming back from Egypt. I saw 3 young people. They were coming back from Sudan. I said, what? They said they're in university in Sudan. I said, who brought us? Who brought us this law? So we're not going to Sudan to go and read. You know? So it is. So that's how bad it is. So these are why we are spending this sleepless night is for you to know that this thing we are doing, please take it serious, support it, because it is a life-saving thing. You know, take it that Nigeria is a life support. Every medical expert now needs attention. Otherwise, it will die. And if it dies, it will be more catastrophic for all of us. So let everybody come. Let's save it. And if we save it, we'll celebrate it. There's nothing that is not there. We have the best of everything. All we need is to have people who have conscience, to understand that public money should be used for public good. People who understand that service, winning an election, serving is grace of God. It's God that gives power. And you can't abuse the grace. Look at us now, I'm preaching in church. And then once somebody will finish this and go and start stealing public money. It is unfair. It's to get it to work. And that's why I said, go and bring all those people. By the time we go now, 2 months, the next 1 month, somebody comes here, gives somebody money, and is telling you people nonsense. You know, telling you, okay, now let this man continue. It's his turn. Where do they do it? Where do they do it by turn? Have you ever seen anybody doing it by turn? No, it's not turn. You come and tell people what you will do, and they believe you. And if you don't do it, you go.
Tonight, without recognizing and thanking the man who made this so place possible for us, the Reverend Dr. Dwayne Walker. A very wonderful man. work. I also want to recognize and thank Sheriff Gary Mofade and his deputies. Thank you for us here. Thank you, Sheriff. And then I also want to thank the former mayor of Charlotte, a wonderful guy, Mayor Patrick Cannon. Patrick, where are you, my friend? We have a lot of questions, over 60 questions in my phone. I've been reading through them. I think some way or another, the Excellency covered the answers to your questions in terms of security, economics, foreign, domestic, crime, corruption. So I don't need to repeat all those questions. That is almost what we did. But I can assure you, we'll find a way to make the questions, send the questions over to you. Okay? So let's give it up to the governor of our program and His Excellency, Mr. Kira Odile. Yeah, please, I'll call on Dr. Ben Opara here to give us the closing remarks and vote of thanks, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ben Opara.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you may please sit. If you may please sit, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, the Ben.
Senegal was born again. One of the biggest and black power in the area. I've known him for more than 25 years. All our efforts, most of our effort came from him. Okay, I wanted to thank him too. I want to fight with I read the Bible. The best part of the Bible is the parable of the seed. If you have the seed, you bring 10 seeds today, you leave it here, for 10 years, it's not going to grow. You take that same seed on the truck, and you drive it from the roadside. Some of the tree will grow, some will die. So we are the seed on the roadside that happen to fall on the federal area and grow and come to America. That's what we have. So the seeds, on that same seed, our brothers and sisters back home in Nigeria. So the only way we can save Nigeria, we in America, and Africa, and everyone else, I don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. And you don't have to do this too. And I really want to thank you as well.
Then there are questions about what you can do to come to church. Now, what we're going to try and do is allocate responsibility. There's a lot to be done in Nigeria. I said when I was speaking that, those who profit from the current order will do everything to prevent the new order from coming out. To ensure that they don't succeed, we need to mobilize your passions. Number of ways. One is to keep the heat on. I'll give an example of how you can get people in Nigeria to be doing specific things that will make sure this thing comes through. The second one is we've got, they'll just walk into the treasury and take as they want. We are not going to spend a tenth of what they're going to spend and beat them.
That's
So that thing that has to be done, we want to allocate. What is it to Charlotte? You guys handle Sokoto State. We need 2 billion to deal with Sokoto State. You put it together and you just spend it yourself and make Sokoto State happen. This is the kind of contribution we want to see happen. And if we can organize ourselves properly and raise that, we'll be looking forward tomorrow to saying Charlotte did Sokoto. And that's why Nigeria is where it is.
Amen. Can we get a bigger hand of applause, please? I think that's it. Oh, okay, yeah, let me, sorry. Well, yeah. Oh, closing prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, if you may please, I would like to call on the pastor of this church, Dr. Walker. If you may please come and lead us in closing prayers. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are in Atlanta on Friday, please be our guests. Yes, Pastor, please.
Let us pray. Again, oh God, we come to you to thank you for this privilege to gather in this place. We thank you, God, for all that our eyes have seen, all that our ears have heard, all that our hearts have felt. We believe a change is coming, and we believe, oh God, that you are guiding that change. We pray that you will continue to keep your hands on Mr. Obi. Continue, oh God, to use him for your glory, that through him, he would not only help to guide the change in Nigeria, but will begin a change all across this world. Let that change begin in all of us, oh God, even tonight, that we would make a decision that we would do our best and do our part to be a part of that positive change. Dismiss us now from this place, but never from your presence, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All the best.
Yeah, I said.
Exit back that way. Everybody exit back that way. Hold on for a second.
Get this in.
Hopefully when he gets into office,
Yes.
you'll be there.
We'll take it. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.